Hey, that's George. I thought you were a coffee roaster. What are you doing out here?
I'm George Wanja. I'm the head roaster and production coordinator for African Coffee Roasters. I work on all the roast profiles and also make sure that the factory is running properly, what is being produced, what is being roasted, what is being packed. And I also work together with the other team for quality and other logistics to make sure that coffee is packed and leaves the factory in as best quality as possible. This is a Angler Mac medium whole bean. We try to pack the coffee as fresh as possible, just to make sure that it gets to the customer as fresh as possible. So our distance from the day of buying the coffee to the day of shipping to the customers, we try to keep it as short as possible.
The shortest one
yes,
in the world.
As short as possible. Yeah. Good.
Oh, this is amazing.
That's it. Then it's sealed.
So what is basically happening here?
You're flushing in nitrogen.
Yeah.
And then it's sealing.
And nitrogen is going to keep the coffee fresh for a longer time?
Yeah, so if for example, this packet of could just flush nitrogen, we can go and try. Come with me, let me show you something.
Så det er altså den her maskine, der sørger for, at kaffen den er frisk, selvom den kommer hernede fra Afrika, og der går noget tid, før den kommer op.
So this is the quality check to see if the nitrogen flushing is effective. So we'll check the amount of nitrogen, or the amount of oxygen inside this pouch. Oxygen, and then we try inside this pouch.
And that means that this coffee is basically as fresh as from roast when it arrives in Denmark?
Yes.
So do you want the nitrogen levels to be higher or low?
Oxygen levels.
Oxygen levels.
You know, because nitrogen is heavier than oxygen, so we put nitrogen inside to push all the oxygen outside. Because oxygen is one of the elements that fastens the rate of deteriorating in quality of coffee.
Of course.
So the less oxygen we have, the better the coffee is.
Exactly. Så du har måske lagt mærke til derhjemme, at når du åbner en pose kaffe, så er den første kop, du smager, den er typisk lidt mere juice og lidt mere smag den sidste. Men her der nitrogen flusher man poserne, så man skubber alt oxygenen ud, altså al luften ud, for at sørge for, at din kaffe er holdt. Så mit bedste anbefaling til dig, det er at holde din kaffe inde i dit brug, så holder du godt lukket til altid. Og det er altså ekstra nemt med de her nye poser, fordi de har den her japanske ziplock. Du kan lukke den rigtig nemt igen.
My most important task is making sure that one, we are roasting to the standards. So that is basically, as in, first of all, you need to look at the quality. You need to look at the health and safety standards. You need to make sure that the coffee is safe for human consumption. And then you need to make sure that we are producing quality and we are bettering off our product by the day.
You're grinding it and putting it into the microwave?
It's not a microwave, it's a color swapping machine. It looks like a microwave.
What is it?
It's a color swap machine. So after that, you put it in the microwave, as you said. So here you go. It basically looks like a microwave.
Det her, I kan se, der ligner en mikrobølgeovn, det er en color tracker.
And then mainly you put it to 10 seconds. And then you say start.
Amazing.
Any question?
No.
So
I'm just amazed at how much into detail. I knew you guys went into detail, but in every step of the process.
So we need to do that on every batch.
You know exactly what you're doing.
And something else, let me show you.
You do cuppings over here as well?
So this is our production cupping mini lab. So for every batch of coffee that we roast, we keep a sample.
Yeah.
Every batch. And then we end up cupping everything. Before we pack a packet of coffee, we've really looked at anything that would make our customer taste any defect on their coffees. So we always pick every batch a sample, and then we end up cupping almost everything, just making sure whatever is going in the packaging line is as consistent as possible.
It's amazing. It's amazing to see how systematized it is and how organized you guys are in every process. I think that when people see what's going on at farm level, but also here at the roastery, they might think extra about the coffee they're drinking and how they're basically treating it.
I want to show you something else. So today, we do a weekly maintenance on our roasters, just to make sure that they're very clean. So today was a servicing day for Lucy.
Yeah.
So we've just we remove everything out of the roaster. So we end up cleaning. So these are all the parts.
Oh, this is here.
Yeah, so we'll end up tearing apart the entire roaster, just making sure we don't have residues going to the client's coffee. Wow. So this is our weekly cleaning plan.
Man kan sammenligne det lidt med, når du renser dit kaffegrej derhjemme. Hvis du skal have ren, clean kaffe, så skal dit udstyr også være rent og clean. I rengør de her kæmpe store maskiner minimum en gang om ugen. Det samme må du gøre med dit kaffegrej.
So basically, because of the sensitivity of roasted coffee, that's why we've chose to separate from the other place. Yeah. We look at it, we call it it's a highly sensitive area, because now it would be very easy to contaminate the coffee from this level. Because now after the coffee's grain is less sensitive, when it becomes roasted, between roasting and packing, it's a very sensitive area, because any contamination getting in there, we don't have way to control it, because if coffee was contaminated on its grain, it goes to around 200, 250 degrees in the roaster. So that would be fine to deal out with the other contamination. But past that, anything getting in that coffee, the quality control would be very minimal, because that would be maybe adding nitrogen or packing it properly. So just to avoid other impurities, we've really separated and taken very high priority on the degassing. So it's basically not everyone who comes in here.
Of course. Okay, so you have an elevator for the roasted coffee to come up in.
Yes.
A VIP elevator for coffee.
So basically we have two storages. We have all these green buckets.
Yeah.
So the green ones are mainly used for organic coffees, and we have the gray ones that are used for conventional coffees. Okay. It makes it easier for us to be able to identify.
Of course.
So if you look at these ones, this is all organic coffees.
Yeah.
This is what is currently in production. So we are going to produce, so all this is the same coffee that is going for production maybe in starting from today, later in the day. We have around 7 tons to produce. This may be around 5. So we have 2 tons to roast, to pack on this machine.
That's a lot.
Yes. So that's basically what we do. I'm sure we have 3 packaging layers. This is the whole bin, what we just went through.
Yeah.
Then we have the ground, and then we have the capsules.
Ja. Så den her, der står herovre, lige før, der sad jeg nede under og pakkede al kaffen. Og jeg trykker på en lille kontakt. Og det var altså kaffen her fra den her, der kom ned i min pose. Så her der hælder man bare de hele bønner ned i en kæmpe stor trakt, og så var det lige ned til maskinen ned under. Og bag ved mig her, der er samme mekanisme, men bare med kværnet kaffe. Nice.
Yes.
This is beautiful.
So we just finished packing this one.
Yeah.
You're going to change to a different product. Now you have to clean this, and then we start now with the new product.
Nice.
Yes.
Very effective.
So this is a grinder.
Yeah. The biggest grinder I ever saw.
So we're grinding into the hopper.
Yeah.
This is Guatemala.
You can smell it. Very nice.
Yeah, very nice. It's organic, that's why it's in a green bucket.
Ah, of course.
Yeah. We can open it and you can feel the smell. Clement, try to fungue.
Now the smells are coming out. Wow. Kaffen den bliver altså ikke meget friskere end det her.
Now you can fully smell it.
Din opgave som barista, det er at få samme duft, som jeg kan dufte lige nu, ned i koppen, når du brygger din kaffe. Eller i hvert fald så tæt på som muligt. Nice. Very nice.
Okay, so now from there, these are our capsules, Ryan. You don't have to look at that. Let me show you something here.
Wow.
So basically, this is our sample archive.
Sample archive.
So if you look at it, it's we have the customer.
Yeah.
For example, this is Coop Denmark. We have the product ID that identifies the product.
Yeah.
What is the name of the product? Which year was it produced and which week? So we keep this product for as long as this coffee is in storage in Denmark. So once after every year, once the coffee is expired, we get rid of the samples. But the reason why we keep this is because sometimes you might have customer complaints and they want to have the exact batch that we shipped. So for every single pallet that we send out, we remain with, we pick up 4 samples. So for this 4 sample, one we use it to test oxygen levels on the coffee immediately. Before we ship out, we do an audit, weekly audit. So this weekly audit will give us a view of how the coffee is before we ship it out. So every week before we ship out a container, whatever has been produced, we'll do an audit on 1 packet. Then we remain with 3. Then 1, we will end up doing a water bath, and after some time, we do a water bath and an oxygen test again, just to see the rate of deteriorating. And then we'll keep 2, and these 2, we will use 1 in case you're producing the same product again as a benchmark.
Wow, so you're not only making sure that the quality coming out of here is at its peak, but you're also making sure that it stays this way for a year when it's at the store in Co-op in Denmark.
Yes.
Wow.
And then, so we will keep that one in case if there's no complaint, then we end up reworking that, getting rid of it towards the end of the year. So probably if you look at this everything we have here is probably in the shelf in Denmark, or a customer has it in his house. So once we are sure that 1 year is gone, we don't have anything, then we'll end up getting rid of this. So this is what we've been producing for the last 1 year. These are some of the samples. Yes.
Okay, så det betyder altså, herom bagved mig, der har vi alt den kaffe, den samme kaffe, som står ude i butikkerne i Danmark. Så hvis du er nede og køber en pose kaffe, og du smager en kop, den smager sgu ikke helt godt, og det ikke er dig selv, der har brygget den forkert, så kan de altså hernede fra tage et sample af den præcis samme batch, som du sidder derhjemme og drikker, og så kan de smage med og finde ud af, er der gået et eller andet galt her, som vi skal rette op på. Og det kan de altså gøre et helt år ude i fremtiden. Så det er ikke kun den bedste kvalitet, der kommer ud af African Coffee Roasters, men de sørger også for, at den, der står ude på hylderne i butikkerne, den forbliver god indtil udløbsdatoen.
I think African Coffee Roaster is an amazing place because you're exposed to dealing with so many things. You have coffee from all over the world. You are exposed to developing so many profiles. You are doing so much coffee, and then we have an amazing team.